Hey guys, Jocelyn here with Fantasia Elegance. I've got another wire wrap jewelry tutorial for you. Today I'll be showing you how to make these cute little treble clef musical inspired Christmas tree ornaments. As you can see, you can do it in different colors, and it has a little dangle bead here for some added sparkle and fun. These are very quick and easy to work up and make, so they are great for stocking stuffers, last minute Christmas gifts, what have you. And of course, because of the musical theme, if you need gifts specifically for something like music teachers or the music lover in your life, they are awesome for that too. So let's go ahead and jump right in, take a look at the tools and materials you will need to whip these guys up. For wire, you're going to need two different gauges here. You're going to need some 12 gauge and some 18 gauge. I'm going to be using anodized aluminum to make these. I do really like this opposed to other kinds of wire for this design, because it makes such a nice lightweight ornament. It's not going to drag your tree branches down. You don't have to worry about, oh, I have to find a really sturdy branch to hang this ornament on. Plus it's also, very affordable, and it's not going to tarnish at all, which is a big bonus. But that being said, you can use whatever you have on hand, again, as long as it's 12 and 18 gauge. If you're not using aluminum wire, make sure you get something soft or dead soft, because working with 12 gauge in those stiffer kinds of wires can be very tricky. You'll also need a single 10mm thereabouts bead or crystal. I'm going to be using this kind of sparkly faceted glass crystal. I believe I got these from, so I got these from Fire Mountain Gems. I think that's the item number right there. I will also look and see if I can find something similar or identical on Amazon and leave that link in the description section below. If you want to have a ribbon hanger on here, you'll want some 1/8 inch wide satin ribbon of some sort. I just got this off of Amazon. Again, I'll leave a link below. You could also just hang a little Christmas tree wire hanger through that loop at the top there if you don't want to do the ribbon. You might also find it handy to have, of course, a ruler, some fabric shears or scissors, and either some clear nail polish for finishing that ribbon off, or if you have a polyester ribbon, you can burn the ends with a lighter as well, so that would be another option. And then just some basic tools: chain nose pliers, round nose pliers, flush cutters. My round nose pliers have gone missing right before filming this tutorial. I suspect my toddler took them somewhere and lost them, so I'm not crazy for using these baling pliers. I apologize for that. It's just what I have on hand. I didn't want to wait to film the tutorial. I will, of course, leave, as always, in the description section below a link to the actual round nose pliers that I recommend and usually use, but I'm just going to make do with what I have today. So let's go ahead and cut our wire. For each ornament, you're going to need a 10-inch piece of that 12 gauge wire. So go ahead and straighten out a little length of that. And we're going to cut a 10-inch piece of that. That's about 25.5 centimeters for those of you in metric. And then we can go ahead and cut our 18 gauge as well while we have our ruler out. You're just going to need a small little piece of this. About 3 inches should do it for you. It's about 7.5 centimeters. Doesn't have to be exact for this one. And we'll just set that aside for later when we're ready to wrap the bead. So taking our 12 gauge wire, our 10-inch piece, and your round nose pliers, we're just going to go right on the very tip of that, and we're going to start by making this little inner spiral of our treble clef. So I'm going to start wrapping this around using the wire itself to put in the bend more so than my pliers, because we want to avoid having too many tool marks here on our design. And I'm just going to put in a nice open spiral, working all the way around like that until we have about a, 1 1/4 diameter circular spiral shape there. And what we've just done is make the inner spiral of our design there, so you can see. And now we're going to take this tail and run it straight up to do the top part of our treble clef. And if you are at any point struggling with how to shape this, feel free to hop online and look up some images of what a treble clef symbol looks like. You could even print out or sketch out from your reference materials online to know kind of the shape you're going for and have something to follow along on paper if that would be helpful for you. But we're just going to do a little loop up the top and then bring our tail back down behind. And I'm going to narrow this up a little bit. Again, this can be somewhat stylized, so largely personal preference. You can kind of make it look more or less how you like. But I'm going to go for something like that. Okay? And now we just need to put in our little bottom spiral going the other direction. So I'm going to snip off my end to make it flush with my flush cutters. And then we're going to spiral it back that other direction, again with our round nose pliers, doing a slightly smaller open spiral so that we have something like that. And I made my overall shape a little bit larger than I needed to. So I'm just going to refine this a little so that I have a bit longer of a tail at the bottom. So I'm just kind of closing up this loop at the top a little bit to get more length there at the bottom. And then I'm going to also close up this spiral here a little bit. And then I have a little bit more space to spiral that up at the bottom, which I kind of prefer how that looks. Okay, so super quick, easy, simple little treble clef shape. And if you've been watching my channel, I do have other tutorials on how to make this into a much smaller pair of earrings or a pendant or something like that. And I might go into a little more detail on there, so again, if you're struggling with making this shape, you can check out those alternate videos as well. But for now, we're going to press on to adding that little wrapped bead loop at the top here. So to do that, pull out our 3-inch piece of 18 gauge wire that we set aside earlier. And I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way on this. So let me show you on a ruler here, about 1 inch in or so to make our first bend. So right there will do it for us. And I'm just going to offset that slightly, put in a little wrapped loop. And this one doesn't need to be a very large loop because this is going to be connecting on to our treble clef shape. So I've just done a little wrap loop there with a tail. I'm going to slide that over the top of our treble clef, just like that. And then using 2 pairs of chain nose pliers, if you have them, we're going to close this on up and wrap it. So I'm going to grip with 1 pair. These are my tweezer nose Zuron pliers. And then these are some Wubbers chain nose pliers. And I'm just going to start wrapping that tail around. And we should have enough to do about 3 wraps around there. Looks good. And if you don't have 2 pairs of chain nose pliers, you can use a pair of round nose pliers for one of these. And I'm just going to snug that tail down to our shank so that we then have 3 little wraps on our loop. Go ahead and slide your bead on now. And we're going to do the same thing at the top above the bead, except we're going to make a slightly larger loop to accommodate either your ribbon hanger or putting in a little Christmas tree wire ornament hanger. So I'm going to go up about 1/4 inch from the stone, do a little bend there, and the purpose of that is to make your wrapped loop be centered on the wire and sit nicely on top of the stone. So we're going to do a slightly larger loop this time. And then, as before, using 2 pairs of pliers, we're going to wrap that tail around to secure it in place. And once you run out of space, you can use your wire cutters to snip off the extra length there. And don't forget to push your tail down in to secure it. And then you can just double check from the front of our design that things look good and are all in a nice straight line there. Okay, so there's our little bead. You can do multiple beads, you know, a longer string of them, whatever you want with this, any color. You can also hang a bead down here from the bottom. That's very cute to do that as well. So feel free to customize this. Let's go ahead and pull out our ribbon now, and I'll show you how to make a little ribbon hanger for this guy. So again, I'm going to be using 1/8 inch wide satin ribbon. And I'm going to go ahead and cut about an 8-inch length of this. And I'm using fabric shears because those cut ribbon really nicely, but any scissors you have on hand will work just fine for you. And then we're just going to thread that through that top loop that we made. I'm going to bring the ends together and kind of stack those two tails of the ribbon. And then I'm just going to put in a really basic little knot. So wrapping it around, I'm going to thread that tail up and under, and then pull it tight. So we just put a little knot in the end. And I've got about 1/2 inch tails at the top here. I think it looks nice to just snip those a little bit shorter at an angle, just to make it a little bit more decorative. And then so that our ribbon doesn't fray, I'm going to paint that with some clear nail polish. You could also, if you have a synthetic ribbon, you don't want to do it with cotton because it'll burn, but if you have a synthetic ribbon, you can just run those ends really quickly through a lighter or a match or something. I don't want to show how to do that on YouTube, just in case there are any safety issues, so use good judgment. Don't do that if you are not an adult or with adult supervision and feeling safe to do that method. So that is our super quick and easy little mini tutorial here on this treble clef Christmas tree ornament. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if so, feel free to click like on that video, subscribe if you haven't already for more content to come. And I do also have on my channel a bunch of other fun Christmas tree ornament designs, some that are more involved. I have a really pretty snowflake. I will leave links to those at the end of this video. They should pop up for you. So again, hope you guys enjoyed this, found it helpful, and that everyone is having a wonderful holiday season. I will catch you all in the next video. Until then, happy crafting.